Alrighty.
So it says setting up your feed. You can never see all this. I can only do it. It says setting up your meeting for Facebook Live. Here we go. Okay, we're streaming on Shadow Hunters page.
Hello.
Hey, Dana's here with me tonight, everybody. This is Dana Stricker. We'll talk in a second once we get everybody loaded. I'm loading ourselves on Shadow Hunters page. These Shadow Hunters, come on, join
We got to get everybody loaded first.
It makes this show a lot better. I'm going to tell you that. The more you're loaded, the better the show is.
So, yeah, right.
I'm going to try to get this week. Oh, here we are. We are live. I'm going to try to get on here right now and see the video on my phone. That way I could see the chat room this week. So last week we didn't see the chat room. I apologize. So we're learning all this new stuff, broadcasting with Zoom across everywhere. So it's kind of cool. So very exciting. I make sure all the volume is down. And there it goes. I have it there. You look good. We look good. Hey! So
hello,
everybody to join us. So once again, hey, welcome to Scotty Rourke Talks About, my new show right here on Shadow Hunters paranormal page. Every week I talk about something different. That way I call it Talks About because that way I can just talk. You know, I can not have a topic or anything like that. So I'm just like, okay, I'll just be myself. That way, if I don't want to talk about paranormal ghosts, we can talk about that too. So, but Miss Dana Stricker is with us tonight, one of my dearest friends. I love her dearly. We have so much fun together.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys have seatbelts on tonight, and you got.
You never know what's going to come out of my mouth. It's really.
So why don't we start, Dana? Why don't you kind of explain yourself and your gifts and how you've been doing and all that jazz, and then we'll get into just.
All right, sure. I am from Wisconsin, a little town called Palmyra. I've been a psychic medium professionally since I was 15. I was born this way, so I never had to go through quote unquote training, which explains some of my rougher edges. I'm not very angelic talking when I speak to the people that have passed because they're the same way, to me anyway.
Right.
They're the same way they were when they passed. They don't grow wings and a golden diaper and a harp because they've died. I say things as I see them, and some people appreciate that and some people not so much, but I've been doing it a very long time, so I like to think that I'm doing it right. I also do belong to US Paranormal, which is a research group out of Illinois as well. And we are doing all kinds of exciting things there as well. I know we're going to be doing a new thing called Paranormal Lounge, which maybe you'll be getting a call on there, Scotty, at some point. There's a conglomeration of different people in on it from all over the country. And it's kind of like this, but they're coming in from all over, and there's a certain topic I think they all agree on. And then it's called Paranormal Lounge, and it hasn't taken off yet, but it'll happen. I'm not in that yet. I'm just part of the group that's forming it.
Okay.
Just make that clear.
Kind of like the
anyway, I belong to that group, but I do. I'm also a speaker, and I have lectured at different things on different topics. Everything from, one of my talks is supposed to be on shadow people, and also actually the black-eyed kids specifically, and what I do believe they are. And I don't believe they're urban legend as much anymore because I've done some research on that, which came out to be interesting. I just pick weird stuff and look into it if I find it interesting. So that's what I lecture on. I've kind of done the whole gamut. I've been doing investigations forever before it was cool, when people called me a freak. Which they still do.
We're major freaks, so that's for kind of
cool. So that's who I am. I'm a single mom, and here I am. That's what I do.
I was on Tina Marie, who's our group leader for South Bend, Indiana for Psychics Tonight. I was on her radio show last night, and we were talking about it. She was asking me, when was the first time I ever saw spirit? And then like you, I've had it my whole life.
Hmm.
So I'm very not, my edges aren't polished either. I guess even after
Probably
all
why we
the
get
time.
along so well.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think we be very similar. It's funny
I don't.
because
Yeah,
everybody that I have heard that got readings from you are similar to me. It's not, we don't give the messages in a way that doesn't sound like the spirits.
well, that's just it.
Grandpa's coming across as grandpa. If he swore, you're going to get the message like grandpa swore because that's the
Exactly.
way he's coming across. But that's a validation. That's a way we get validation as readers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep. I
But too
agree.
many people want to bend it and translate it into their own way, and that's not really the way it's supposed to be.
I just don't, I don't know. I mean, it makes me uncomfortable to try to be something I'm not that way. So what I hear in my head is what comes out of my mouth, which I don't have a huge filter to begin with,
Right?
which
We don't.
sometimes to my benefit, sometimes not so much, but I think it's more honest to do it that way, and I think that people appreciate it that way because I'm just not the Danielle Steele of the psychic world. I never will be.
Me neither. Or I'm not like Martha Stewart or all these guys that put all this frilly crap around, and put all these bows. And
No.
I'm just like, here's what he says. Here's what it is. If it's got to kick you in the butt today, it's going to kick you in the butt because that's
Yes.
what Grandpa was. He was that type of person.
Right. And I think, like you said, that is the validation with it because when I think if I have been to people because I can't read myself. I don't know if you can read yourself.
Not,
I can.
not, can't.
God's little joke.
And
Eh.
it's hard to. The other thing then is it hard to read close ones like family. It's hard for me to read my kids, and it's hard to read. I can't read Terry because she's too close. My wife, I can't.
Once a couple of my client, they started out as clients and now they're very good friends. There's a few of them. It's a no-go. I mean, I'd have to go like probably a good year without talking to them even
Right.
to try to like turn around and then read them how I feel is properly.
Me too.
But there are other ones that I can. So it doesn't hold true all the way across the board. But yeah, there are certain people, and then there's the people that, and I know you had to have run into this, like when we're at events on you're doing readings on someone, and it's like let's say, and it's usually a male, their wife or girlfriend's like, oh, go get a reading. He or she's great. You gotta like do this. And they're like, and they'll do it begrudgingly and they'll sit there and this wall just drops. Boom.
Yeah.
And you're trying to, and they're like skeptics and they're giving you the old stink eye, like, I know you're shitting me and you're a gypsy and, and you're like, no, but you're so closed that I can tell you very little of what I could probably tell you a lot more, but you don't want to hear it because then, that would make you a pussy, so to speak, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it usually is males. I've had a few females that are actually worse than the male skeptics because they're nasty about it.
Right.
In which case I say, then you shouldn't be here. You just shouldn't be doing this if you're that against it.
Right.
If I'm not a punching bag. So on your way.
Like I can count on one hand how many people I could never read. And it's like one, because the one lady I just couldn't do it. It was up in Portage area. I did an event, and it's Portage, Wisconsin, everybody. So which is just north of me by about half hour. Not Portage, Indiana, or anywhere there. So there's a bunch
Portage, Indiana, Portage. Oh, that's Gary. Never mind.
That's Gary. You don't want to go there.
No, not really.
But anyway, I was in Portage, and it just everything I was getting was wrong. It was just off. So it was one of those things that I agree with you. She had the block up, and I finally, after a few minutes, I just said, "It's not going to work today. You don't have to pay anything. Have a good day. I really appreciate it. It was very nice meeting you. Hopefully, one of the other readers in the house can help you today. But unfortunately, I have to call it quits because I'm not going to do this.
Yeah,
it's just not working. It's not. I can't get it." And I had one when I go to Victory of Light in Cincinnati, and I had a lady and her friend. What?
What is that?
Victory of Light. Victory of Light is one of the largest psychic fairs in the United States. They have 350 readers.
It shows you so much how much I know.
it's a wonderful event. It took me a couple of years to get in.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
have a waiting list for years to get into this thing for a second. But I'm in, and now I got my spot, and I do it all the time. But I had her and her friend come in. They had a couple of drinks. They were walking around, you know. They sat down together, which I don't like to do. I don't like to do friends together anyway.
It's
So
it's hard
it's
for
too
me.
hard. It's too
Yeah.
tough. You're mixing too much energy. They're
You
not
get bleed
family.
through. You get bleed through. So you have like someone coming in for the one, and you're reading the other, and you're like, they're like, no, it's not that. And you're like, yeah.
Right, exactly. That's the face. So that's what
Yeah.
they were making to me. And I finally said, okay, I'm done. Enough. Thank you. And I didn't charge them. They went on their way. About an hour and a half later, she came and booked again for later. And she said to me, I want to do it by myself. And I said, okay, great. And so she goes, will you do it again? Yeah, no, it didn't go well. I said, well, sit down. And it went perfect. You know, the reading went well. It was just me and her. And I said, so the bleed through and then the energy of your friend wasn't great. So, I mean, it has to be there too. They have to give it. Got a flying collar. It's driving me nuts.
As you go airborne around the room.
Yeah.
Ooh. Just what I was
By the
going to
way-
say, if you don't wear turbans and float around the room, your
Right.
collar starts going
I'm
on me.
flying around the room.
Yeah.
By the way, Nick in the chat room says you have no filter. He knows it.
I
So-
have no what?
Filter.
Oh, well, you know.
I actually could see the chat room this week, so that's pretty good. So hi Tom, hi Nick, hi Barb, hi Roxanne, hi Greg, hi Carly, hi Sharon. And
Holy Hannah.
yeah, we got a bunch in the chat room, so and then a bunch of other watching. So welcome everybody.
Hello.
Excited to have you here. So we're kind of talking about just reading tonight. We're just going to jabber and have a good time together. But yeah, that I mean, so really, I mean, those walls come down on us. You know, they come down when we try our best. You know, and that's all we can do. And unfortunately, for people that aren't like us, that are young at reading, you know, like my students and stuff, I find that that's so off-putting, or it makes them.
Well, their confidence flies out because they feel like they're okay. Maybe this isn't really, maybe I'm really not doing this right or not well or whatever.
Tim Miley's in the room. Hi,
Tim?
Tim. Yeah, Tim.
Hi,
Miley.
Tim.
How are you, buddy? We love you. Tim's going to be on the show next week, so I'll probably.
Oh, cool.
So-
I will
so
tune
Scott,
in.
Scott Tepperman and Tim Miley, one of my two best friends, male friends. Dana's my other female.
Yeah, nice save. Nice
It
save.
always is. I got good saves. That's why I'm on the show, because I get good save. But yeah, Tim and Scotty are on tonight, so or next week, so they're going to be
Cool. All right. Well,
neat.
I know what to do next week then.
Yeah, come watch.
Yeah. So I don't know if you knew this, but so and I'll try to be very nondescript when I say this, but that thing we were talking about with working on missing people,
Yes.
you know, that's not my first case.
No, I know that.
So
That's why
okay.
I asked. That's why I was glad you jumped in.
yeah, because I was working
That
on
was my
one.
first
I think that's my fifth. I think that's my fifth one now.
Mine too. That's so funny. It was my fifth.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. Well,
And I was like chicken to do
3, 4.
the first
5.
one.
It was 5.
Yeah, I'm on 5, and it's like just like this last year. And the last one I had was in California. I can't even remember the state. One was in Arizona, one was in California. It doesn't matter.
I had 2 in Colorado, 1 in California, 1 in Ohio, and then the one in Milwaukee.
I
We
have
could
learned
talk- We
something.
could talk roughly. She's okay with us talking about it, the Milwaukee case that we worked on. So,
Okay,
so
I just don't.
talk about it.
Yeah,
But we won't go into details, but we'll talk about it.
yeah. It's a lot of people have asked me about remote viewing and stuff like that. I've always been able to do it, so I can't like be like, oh, this is what you must do. You must get into a meditative state, fly around the room, sacrifice a chicken, whatever. No, it just is a thing. Like, I think it's either you have it or you don't, or if you don't have it, you can probably develop it. I've just never had to do it, so I can't vouch for that.
Yeah, we have a gentleman in our Psychics Unite group in Madison that teaches remote viewing. He teaches it from the guys who were in the original remote viewing with the government.
Yeah, my dad knew a lot about that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
am I an alien baby?
Maybe.
Who knows? But I
Anyway,
doubt that.
so, so if everybody doesn't know, the United States government had for many years, and I still think they do. It's quiet
I do.
again, but they had for many years. And if you see the movie Men Who Stare at Goats, that movie was based on that whole entire thing. So even that goofy movie, you think it's weird and funny. Everything in that movie is true.
It's just the title that gets me.
I know, isn't it weird? Men Who Stare at Goats, but it's kind
I
of
could
funny.
come up with lots of jokes, but I'm being proper. Okay.
I was talking. It was kind of funny. Is before we got here, one of my friends hit me up on Facebook here, and she was saying that because I told her about dissipating clouds, and she goes, what do you call it? Because I tried it and the cloud dissipated in front of me. I said, well, that's part of remote viewing and part of that psychic group, and the government did that when they were trying to spy on the Russians.
Right.
Was one of their things. I said in the movie they call it sparkly eyes. And that's what I call it. I call it sparkly eyes. So if you're sparkly eyes, you're dissipating clouds.
I've never watched that movie, but I've heard of it. And that's why I was chuckling about Men Who Stare at Goats, because I've people have told me in the past, you should really watch that. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, the title just makes me think bad things. So I don't.
It is so amazing of a movie.
Do that.
And they make so much fun of it on there, and it's crazy. But
who's in there? Isn't there like a super famous actor in that?
Yeah, I got my phone on the chat room, so I can look it up.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Somebody else will look
yours. Yeah, if anybody looks it up, put it in the chat room. Tell us who's in that movie. But yes, I think it's one of the good-looking actors, the older actors,
like Clooney or Pitt, or one of them. I don't know. Brad Pitt.
No, it was.
I don't like either one of them, actually, to be honest with you.
I think somebody like that was playing the guys in there. But anyway, he does it now. It's kind of cool because I know him well enough, and he's done it in some of our Psychic Night meetings where he's actually talked about it. And I think I lost. Well, maybe I got the notes here. They do it a little bit different, but it's really not any different than mediumship. And they think that that's what we have. Let me look it up. Here it is. Yeah. So in remote viewing, and you're going to find this amazing, Dana. Let's understand it, because it's exactly what you and I do already. So in remote viewing, they call it detecting, decoding, and objectifying. Those are the three terms they use to talk to it. So let's break that down. Detect. So we all believe that spirit's energy, right? So
right.
Everything's got an energy. So that's how we can talk to them, because we detect their energy. So
right.
We know that an energy's there, or when we're ghost hunting, we go into a place, we know that there's an energy there that's not ours.
Right.
So right away we can detect that energy. Then the decoder is, what are we getting from them? What kind of message are we getting from them for you and me? Because we can talk to them specifically. If you're an empath, you're just going to get what kind of energy it feels like. But that's the same thing. And objectifying just means giving that as a message, as a feeling, or as a knowledge, or something like that. So when they told me that that's the basis of remote viewing, I said, already do it. He goes, yes, you already do it. He says, because a lot of people can learn how to be a psychic and medium through remote viewing, because it teaches you the same thing. Feel the energy, because everything's in energy, code the energy, and then give the message from the energy. And that's the same thing we do. So I didn't think it was very different at all.
So I have a question for you now. Mm-hmm. So when you are on, okay, let's say a case, police case.
A case. A police case.
A police case.
Sergeant. Because you just said to me, say this. And I did.
Whatever. You got me all kaboobled now. Okay, anyway. You like in your head, when you're looking in, are you coming in above it? Like, or are you coming in at the level? Okay, how do I explain it? Like when I go in,
I come at the level.
And I come in from the top down.
Okay. And I know other people that come from the top down. I actually come in from the eyes of the person.
Okay, so you're coming as the person.
Yes.
And I see when I come in, I'm coming as watching
the
person.
Which I think is cool too. I like that. I would like to see that sometime, but I don't. I always see it from the eyes of the person.
It's not very pleasant sometimes. I've come
And I think, and sometimes I don't see enough. I don't think seeing from the eyes, because
yeah.
like the kid that we saw in Milwaukee, I saw him
Mhm.
walking to the river. I saw him go into the river. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't see. I mean, I saw from where he saw in this level what he saw. I didn't see from overall where everything was.
And I saw the overall,
Right. Which then you can add to my this view, and then we can narrow it
yes,
down. Right.
because
Right.
I'm not coming in as him. I'm coming in as an outsider looking down. And that's why I was like, he's not where they say he is,
Right.
because I just knew that. I mean, it never came up that way. So it was important enough that whatever was giving me that information, I don't know if it was him, if it was just
It was
that
part
was,
of him. It was part of him too. That's
yeah,
part of the universe and the spirits that are around him.
yeah. I was supposed to see that other part of it. I very rarely, like I said, I've done it 5 times. Like the first one was the most intense one, and that went on for a year and a half. And I did not belong to Psychics Unite or anything like
Right.
that. It was just a client of mine, and it's a long story, but I knew that the cop that was causing them issues was going to commit suicide, and he did eventually. But there was all this other stuff that was going on. But in that case, I was seeing it through his eyes, but he was still alive at the time, which was odd.
Yeah, that's really a.
So I didn't know how
That's that,
comfortable I
that's
was with that.
but that's remote viewing.
Well, look out, CIA.
No, we could do it
I
good.
want my badge.
Carly in the chat room says she sees it like I do here.
And I think that's,
I think
it's
the
like you said, it's
majority.
either one or the other.
Yeah, it's one
It's
or the
just,
other. It's here
and
or
I think it's very individual, just like any other thing like this. I mean, everybody is psychic in some respect. I don't care.
so. Let's
Everybody
talk
is.
about that real quick. So, as Terry and I with Running Psychics Unite, we define psychic as a spectrum. Okay, so psychic, everybody's a part of this spectrum. So either this side you are where energy is, or you're
Mhm.
this side where you talk to the dead. But everybody's somewhere in here. You know what I mean?
Well, how
So
do you explain me then?
you are up here, but that's what it is. I mean, because the psychic people are down here, the ones that are really good with energy. So you got psychic, you got your empaths, you got your sensitives, you got all those down in this area. And then as you move up, then you start combining, because every medium has psychic ability, but not every psychic has the medium.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
So
Do you have any
as a medium,
clear?
you have it all, but you kind of tend to be stronger here talking to those spirits.
Okay. When do you ever have like do you get smells? Do you get sounds? Do you get like temperature changes in your body?
Mhm.
There's
I
all
don't.
different. There's like clear cognizance, clear this, clear all the different. I can't remember them all right now. Clear audience.
I
Because
guess
I get all of it.
my two big ones are seeing and hearing.
Okay.
My
And
one I
I'm a lucky devil because I get to smell stuff.
see, I don't. That was what I was
Oh,
gonna say. That's my least on my spectrum. That's my
yeah.
least skill. I don't smell, which I guess is okay, because if you smell death or you smell body
Well, I
odor,
can smell cancer on people.
see
See that?
yeah, that's
That's
tough. That's
people
tough.
that are still alive. I can
I know.
tell they have cancer from their smell and from their. I can see a color change. Of course, I don't walk up to them and go, "Hey, so did you know?" I'm not gonna. God, horrible.
But
Um,
I see the same thing, but in their aura.
and see, I don't see aura at all.
That's
And
what I
that's what I
see.
mean. Everything is so individual, and that's why it's so cool to work with other people that do this, because we all have different fortes.
Right.
And I think when you have more than one in one setting, I don't think having too many is a good idea necessarily, because then there's too much. But like,
I think we all have them, but I think we're all strong in the ones, and we need to be strong in it. Like,
yeah,
it's like I always say, baseball players. Everybody's played baseball in some form. You know what I mean? So that's why I say psychic abilities like baseball. You either play kickball, you played stickball, you played, you threw the ball. I mean, it's all the same game. It's all everybody's played it.
right.
some people play in bar leagues, some people play in college, some people play in the pros, some people are in the Hall of Fame, but everybody's played it. That's the same thing with the psychic abilities. Everybody has it, but it's not if it's defined. You
Right.
have the classes, you work at it, and there's also some skill too. Because I wouldn't be a medium unless I had a little bit more advanced. Because everybody can be a psychic, but not everybody can be a medium.
Right.
So yeah, there's some skill and there's some growth in there, but it's all because of our work and what we decide we want to do with it. So but that's why. And now I lost my point. Now I'm off on the table. Scotty's talking about crap.
Woo-woo!
He's
Train
off.
has lost track.
He's off. He's gone.
It's that collar. You're flying.
It's flying again. Dang it! Stay down.
Peter Pan.
What we were talking about before, but yeah. So
Everybody has psychic ability. It's just a
but we're
matter
talking
of
about how you got to use your skills. So
Yeah.
so basically was thanks for bringing it back. So if you're not good at playing infield, then and then they put you in the infield, then it wouldn't be great. Or if they put you like as a quarterback and you can't throw but you can catch in football, then that's not good if you can't throw. And
Right.
That's what every medium has to do. They all have to understand what they're good at. So if I can see, then I see. When we do investigations, I'm always the first one in the house because I know where the activity is going to be, and then we set up our cameras and our gear in those rooms. So that's how I see. If you smell and you walk through and you smell something in a room.
I don't smell. I said
Yeah, that's true. Yes, you shower.
I worked
You
up a
shower.
pit. Let's go in.
Even through COVID, Dana showered.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually go in. Sometimes I'll go in as a psychic. Like, I can't help what I am. So if I go into a place on an investigation, I might not be the only psychic that works the group that day. And I certainly don't want to be like commandeering, like, I am the only psychic that could be doing, whatever. So sometimes I just go in as an investigator and I just hold my tongue.
Right.
If I get asked an opinion, I'll give it. If I'm not, I don't. So I can shut mine. I don't shut it off. I just don't talk back. But then I get scratched and then I get pushed. And then I get like, I was at a place that we were investigating last year and I was admiring the woodwork in the house. And this is like before we really started investigating. And you hear me say, this is horrible, because of course the guys in the group had to loop it and they played it over because they thought it was hilarious. I was talking about the woodwork and I said, I just want to touch it, the woodwork. And they looped it. So it was like me, but then the EVP right after that it was like, yes, or go ahead, or something to that effect. It was a woman saying it. It wasn't some perverse thing like they made it seem. But I tend to get EVP a lot. So they called me Puerto Rico. I was the daughter of the dead. They kept yelling this at me. I'm like, what are they saying to me? Oh, and they're like, oh, I'm like, what? Some white bread girl from Wisconsin. Daughter of the dead. So yeah, it's interesting.
So I have a
I've
question.
had an interesting life.
What do you call? I call spirit and ghost different things
Well, to me,
because they have different meanings to me, and I teach it different.
oh, I'm sure you do. I mean,
So
to
what
me,
do you
like I
call
said,
it?
I have never taken anything like a class from anyone.
Okay.
I usually say spirit across the board. A ghost, saying a ghost, this is just my own personal thing.
And I'll tell
It's
you
not
my-
against
my-
anybody else.
Mhm.
But a ghost to me conjures. God, I'm funny. Okay. Brings up or conjures up images. I have to use the word of like something scary that haunts a house. That's like the Hollywood version that everybody has in their head. Oh my God, we have a ghost.
Okay.
Spirit to me, spirit could range from a ghost, like Aunt Matilda's still in her rose garden, okay, all the way up to a spirit being something that is not a human spirit. So that would be something more angelic, if you will, or something of a higher frequency than we're at.
Good.
But it's very ambiguous. So I don't, like I said, I'm not properly trained. I'm like the trailer trash reader of the.
No, I just wanted to know what you do because now let me explain what I call both.
Okay.
I call a ghost any person that has died and got out of their flesh.
Yep.
Somebody that died that has not crossed all the way over.
Okay. Fair enough.
So they're the ones. Okay, and then spirit to me are the ones that have crossed all the way over, all the way.
Oh, I see. And then they come back, like do drive-bys on people.
Right. They come back to give readings. So grandma and grandpa that have passed, or your mom that dies, it comes back. They can come from heaven, or if that's what you call
Sure.
it, or land, or whatever your religion's belief is. They can come back anytime, just as much as a ghost can. But a ghost is stuck here. Ghost is stuck in the emotion. So like when I teach students in mediumship, I gotta tell them that they gotta call in the spirits for the readings, because ghosts, because of they're stuck with this earth emotions and earth crap, you know, they talk about the hate, the
it'd be a lower level
lower level energy, right? Yeah.
Play. Okay.
Lower level energy,
and I must be
that could trick you.
Yeah, I've got my hands doing a lot of different things. I'm in demonology. I'm still, it's a long story. That's for a different show.
Yeah, we'll do that again.
I did,
I'm not big into demons.
Oh, well, nobody is. And I think they're very rare if they're even.
They exist. So because I don't believe in hell. That's where my difference is.
Well, we are in hell, if you ask me right now.
Right. I say that all the time. I teach people that all the time, because in the spiritualist faith where I am, we have a tenet of our religion is it says in there, we create our own happiness or unhappiness, and we create. So,
like we created COVID. Remember what we were talking about before?
Basically, I mean, yes, we create those people that we were talking about before. Yes, they're creating. They're living in it. They understand that energy. They think it makes them happier. They think it gives them a purpose in life because they live in this lower energy. And the lower energy attaches, and the lower energy tricks, and the lower energy is crap. So in essence, that could be demonology to the thing, but I just don't think it's a being from outside that comes in. I think it's.
I'll tell you on a different time. I'll tell you
about it all together. I would like to get
the
demonologists and the spiritualists in, and do a round table or do whatever your other show was, and we'll sit in and we'll all talk about it, because the spiritualists will talk one way about it, the demonologists will talk about it, but in the end, I think we're very close.
I think so too, but I am the Dana. I'm neither side. I'm like just how I am, what I see and what I've experienced, which is my own personal thing, as everybody has.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
but I don't know. I don't even know where I fall. I just know that weird stuff happens to me my whole life.
And I don't necessarily call angels either. I call them higher energy.
Higher energy. Yeah. I don't like to.
I believe that there's people that have not been on this earth yet. I don't think they've come here to this earth, but I think they've lived in other either dimensions or realms or universes or wherever they are, because we can travel anywhere we go in this whole thing. So, and that's another show.
Exactly.
Aliens. We'll talk about that all later, but
yeah,
I like the show because you can just talk about it. You can just get into it.
Well, it's because there's, a lot of people, though. I think it's good to show that, this is a lot more, people like always, I don't know, my whole life, I've been picketed in my hometown for reading, basically burn the witch with the, short of having pitchforks and torches in my front yard growing up. Not really so much then, because my dad was Irish Catholic and we had to hide the fact that I was doing that. But even like now, my son goes to high school here, and most of his friends, they kind of know what I do, but there's only a handful that really actually know what I do. It's not like he takes me to school. It's take your parent to work day. Joe Blow's dad's a car salesman and Mrs. Stricker is a psychic medium. It's like, yeah, you're not going to do that. So, and because I am in a really small town in Wisconsin.
You're way smaller than Madison, which is.
Oh God. Yeah. 1,700 souls are in this town. And that's grown by 500 since I was in school.
I know. Palmyra's small.
We be walking a cow path, mister. But it's just people don't understand that there's a lot more layers to it than just sitting down and getting your lottery numbers. And I hate it when people say that to me. Well, if you're really psychic, can't you give me? You know what? No. If I could get lottery numbers, do you really?
I'd already done it,
and I would putting up with your crap.
Right.
I want to get abused by someone like you. If I could win the lottery myself, I'm going to give you numbers. I think not. No. So, there's a lot more to it than that. And, you're basically, lack of a better term, is a spiritual counselor. Because you're basically, for lack of a better term, no, there's not school involved, but you are still counseling people to some degree about their one that's passed away. So
someday I'm going to create a school. I got a school for spiritual awareness.
Well, I am a school of the Morris Pratt, or a student of the Morris Pratt Institute. Did you know that?
No.
That's the first spiritualist school in the United States, and it was Whitewater, Wisconsin. And they are actually based out of Milwaukee now in a one house.
Yeah, one little house. Yeah.
But I am a student there. Yeah. Because I thought, hey.
So then in the end, you're going to change your view about demons with me.
I might not change my view, but I'll have the certificate saying that I studied it.
You'll study my side.
I don't have a side. I'm like the agnostic psychic medium. I don't have a side because I've seen a lot of things.
I agree with that too. I mean, I probably wouldn't say it, but I tend to lean more to spiritualism than anywhere else.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I've gone to spiritualist churches. There's one up. Well, you've been to the Dells, Wanawak, and then have you ever been down to Florida to Casadega?
I met somebody on the psychic cruise I did last year that wants me to come down and read, and it's
I would love to go down and read there. It's so cool.
Right now because of the COVID crap, but I'm gonna hit her up again and head down. But
they actually have they did when I was there, which is years ago, but I'm sure it hasn't changed much. They actually have their hall, their meeting hall, and they have the trumpets, the spirit trumpets from I just love it. It's so cool. And I've never seen one used, but they say they float and stuff. I wasn't there for that, but I would love to go just watch,
I used to have a show on my radio station on Z Talk. We used to have a show with, I think it debuted 7 years ago now, with I had 8 spiritualist ministers, and we did a roundtable show.
Ooh, cool.
Between the living and the dead. And actually all the archives are out on ztalkradio.com. You can go there and listen to them. But cool. I met some really cool pastors from churches. Most of them are from out east. And some of the pastors that were on the show are now the head of NSAC, National Association of Spiritualist Churches, by the way. Anyway, she became the vice president of all the things that was on the show. So it was really nice to be able to, get some validation through it. But so 2 weeks ago, one of the ladies, Reverend Lynn, asked me to do she's always wanted me to come out and read at Lilydale and read at her church.
Oh God, how awesome is that?
And I have never been able to. I've not been able to get out there. But with COVID going on, they're doing online spiritualist church every Sunday. And so they asked me to be the speaker and read for them and do the prayers, and it was amazing.
That's really cool, Scotty.
I was so happy to be a part of their church, and it was a good time. It was really pretty fun. So, but that's where I tend to lean. I tend to lean more to the spirituals because I believe it. Because even in all my work, and like I tell everybody, I did the Fox Hollow Farms. I was one of the first two
Yeah,
mediums.
isn't that place is
Yeah, it's creepy as hell.
pretty marginal, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like scary.
it is, and because in there they have the he was a serial killer. And he killed all these gay men. And
What didn't he have like the mannequins around the pool or something?
oh, that's where he would kill the kids in the pool. Yeah, because he had a pool in the basement, and so up top he never brought any of the kids upstairs. He'd always bring the boys downstairs. So his family would go out of town for the weekend. He'd get dolled up and go to the gay bars, bring guys back home to his home, tell them he's got this ranch and pool, and they would start swimming in the pool, hanging out, drinking. Then he would kill them. So
sounds like a dream date.
but to me, and this is probably we could in the other show, but to me, that's as close to a demon as I've ever come. That's as close. That's pure evil to me because he knew. See, that's where I get. That's why demons don't understand and everything does. I get off because I don't understand if you don't know what evil is or you've never encountered evil. Where you can say you're a demon because demons have never been here on earth. So do they really know evil? Do they, how they progress? But humans tend to know what's right and wrong. They understand it. And then they choose always to be wrong. They choose always to murder. They're always choosing this. And to me, that's
certain people are choosing that. But there's so many layers to that stuff too. Jeffrey Dahmer was like the nicest guy on earth if you talk to him face to face.
Right. So
good thing you didn't give him a big old kiss.
Yeah. And I invested. What was fun is I investigated the house that butted up in the alley to Dahmer's house. So Dahmer's apartment where they tore down was here, and the house we were was right here. So I went into their backyard, and it's nasty. There's nasty residual energy at that house.
Did you see that? One of the movies they made about him. I think my uncle. Did my uncle know him? I can't remember. My dad's from Milwaukee, or was. And he worked for the chocolate place, the chocolate factory. Dahmer did. What was it called? I don't remember. Doesn't matter. And he was like, Joe Blow, the guy. Nobody knew he was gay. Nobody cared. He was just like beige, as my dad would say. He just blended in with everything. But what he was doing behind closed doors was so, as close to demonic as I can think of getting.
I agree 100%.
And these people that are doing things like, you hear about these horrendous murders, like the woman that stuffed the baby in the oven and all these horrible things. Right. Is it actually the person doing that, or is that an outside influence coming in that's guiding them there? And that's where there gets a gray area for me.
That's where the onion is. So where do we?
Onion, yes. And the onion can get pretty deep before you get into the whole nugget that's in there.
I like that analogy. The nugget. You could be nuggetologists.
I'm a nuggetologist. Yeah. Well, wouldn't that be a title?
That's what we just created. We created the word nuggetologist.
Yeah.
Dana and I are new nuggetologists. We go for the
Hello, Dana Stricker, nuggetologist.
I'm a nuggetologist.
Yeah, right.
Can you imagine that on Facebook? Maybe I'll post that to them. Scotty Rourke, nuggetologist.
It would be like Ace Ventura, pet detective. Oh God. Anyway, so that being said,
yeah, let's not go down that road anymore. But that's where, unfortunately, the two levels of spirit, and that's where I differentiate them. And so when people hear me talk about ghosts and ghost hunting, that's talking about the spirits that are still stuck here on Earth. So here's a question for you, and I think people know this too of me already. I'll tell you mine after. So can you cross somebody over?
I do not do that. I think I probably can do that, but because I just don't, to me, and this is my thing, the ones that I've encountered, it's not up to me to tell them what to do. God gives them.
Go 100%. 100%. And I don't think I don't believe
free
anyone
will.
that says it. Right. I don't believe anyone that says they cross anybody.
No,
I
it's
don't
not
believe
up to us to do
it. No,
that. That's
100%.
everybody's individual experience. So if like,
You say you're not trained,
what?
and you say you're not trained,
I'm not.
but
I just don't, I've never had that. I don't think that's any of my business. I mean, if they want to stick around until the rest of their family dies, that's up to them. That's not up to me to tell them they have to leave.
right.
I mean, if it's like somebody that's terrorizing a family, yeah, I tell them to go. I can't make them go. I never ever tell a client that ever.
Right, right. Like in the movie that we're trying to finish yet after all these years of Lily's Cry, that spirit's been around for almost 250 years. She's just not
God, I'm
crossed.
exhausted just thinking about that.
Me too. It's just like, damn, girl, just go over and come back. I'm telling her. But she's so into revenge because she got killed. You know, so because of that, she spends her time in the revenge, and that's what keeps her here. And no matter how many times I talk to her about it, she goes, I know, I've seen the light, I've not gone into it, I don't want to. Okay, I can't do anything about it. I can't force her, I can't yell. I always say an example of that in my lectures. I always talk about the person, like, okay, so you got a grandma coming up to the street corner, and you come up to her and you go, cross. You start yelling at her, cross the street. You start trying to pull her across the street, and she's waiting for the bus, which is on
Yeah,
that corner. She's not going to go. She's not going to go.
Right.
And
And
most ghosts aren't going to go unless they want to go.
well, and I think it's, we're all given free will from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter if I talk till I'm blue in the face and say this, that, and the other thing. If that person is not ready to go wherever it is we go, they're not going to go. They can pretend that they left, and I can be all like gypsy like and hold my incense and go, this room is clean, like that lady in Poltergeist.
No.
But they come back. I know I look just like her too, don't I? This house is clean. Anyway, the fact, they're like you said, they can go wherever. They can go screw off somewhere in a corner. We think they're gone. It doesn't mean they're going to stay gone once we're gone. Exactly. And it's not my business.
No, and I always say we can only help them so far. We can show them that the light is of love, that it's a good place to cross all the way over. It's good to go, and you can come back. And I've done some, like at Old Bear Bowen, we had one where I had a kid spirit that wouldn't go because he hated his mom and didn't want to be with her. But, I had my spirit guide show him what love was. And then he understood it, and then he left, and we haven't seen him back since, but then there's the other ones in prisons and stuff. If you go to jails, those spirits don't want to go because they were told they were going to go to hell. Even though there isn't a hell, they're still not going to cross because they don't want to be judged.
Well, that's just it. When I was speaking of prisons, I was at Mansfield.
Yes, that's what
years ago when I went there, and we were doing an EVP experiment down in the old solitary down there. So it still had the dirt floor and the little red ants crawling around all over the place. And one of the EVPs that we got down there was "F you, lady," at me.
Right.
Thank you very much.
They didn't want ladies there because that wasn't their space.
No, because they were, what I was supposed to do is try to get them to talk to me. And I think that they were feeling like I was there to get rid of that or make them go or something. I don't know if that's, it's years ago now, but I'm saying, I know there was something about that I think it was the fear of me making them leave. And that's probably why, because when they saw the light or whatever it is, we see a door or whatever it appears to as that person, they didn't want to go through that for exactly that reason, because they knew they were destined, quote unquote, to go to hell, even though that wasn't going to be.
To me, there was no hell. So, but they don't want to do that because the human people told them that, and that's what they believed. And the priests that came into the jails told them the same thing. If you don't repent and believe in Jesus, then you're going to go to hell. And none of them did. And none of them did. So then they die, and then they don't want to go to hell, so they don't go anywhere. So
they hang around and swear at people like me because that's the kind of man I get.
No, actually, it's a little different because remember that in a jail they had societies, they had families, they had hierarchy, they had different things, and women weren't a part of it. So any woman that came in was usually a counselor or somebody in the jail coming in, and very few women would come in at all to try to help somebody. It was always trying, so that's why they came after you like that, because I went into it and they did the same thing to me because I could see them, very clearly. I went into the Mansfield and I walked in the front door and that big wood door shut right behind me, slammed shut. I said, "Oh, it's on." And
Yeah,
then
it's on. Exactly. It's on.
it's on. Here we go. We're on. And then
And I haven't been back there. Like I said, I'm going to Waverly soon, and I've never been to Waverly. So I'm looking forward to that, actually. And I'm one of those weirdos that the things that I should be afraid of, I'm not. And the things that I am afraid of, I shouldn't be.
Right.
So they'll probably stick me down in the chute. Like I said, the body chute, all the TB patients were done down too. And I hope that I do get something there, because I feel so bad for some of those people that are still hanging around in there. I'm not going to try to cross them. I just want to know what they're saying.
Right.
All
we could do is give our information. That's all we can do to help them cross over, and then let them choose for their own. Regina in the chat room says she thinks they are confused, which is true. That's it.
Well, they were very ill when they were there. It was a TB ward, correct, Waverly?
Yeah.
And plus, we don't know about mental illness. Mental illness plays in tier 2, where, if you die, let's say you're schizophrenic and you die, I'm hoping that you are restored to some semblance of mind, but are you? We don't know. I've not been there to remember it.
If they're ghosts, they have not. If they're spirits, they have.
Okay.
That's why I can differentiate spirits and ghosts when I'm in.
No, it makes sense, but like I said, I've never. I don't have that.
When you go there, let me know. Tell me after. Call me up after and say.
I will. I will.
Because I think once you understand it and think of it in those terms, you'll be able to understand really quick if it's a spirit or if it's a ghost. Because
I get so many people, like this last 2 months. I mean, I've seen ghosts my entire life, spirits, ghosts, all of them, aliens maybe. I don't know.
You've seen those too.
There's all kinds of stuff going on right now. The last 2 months, I've seen more full body apparitions and had more weirdness go on the last 2 months, 2 or 3 months, than I had my entire life. And I almost think I had this one woman walking out in front of my house that had the full 1800s business going on. She was looking frantically all over the place, like, where the hell are they? So I think something is happening, and I know I'm hearing that all over the place with all different people and all different works of this, whatever it is we do. Psychics, mediums, all of them. Everybody's saying the same thing. The activity is raised, and it just keeps kind of going higher and higher. Yet, all of our, the good part is, like, the wildlife is, the pollution's better, the wildlife's better, yada, yada, which is great. I'm not denying that fact, but my ghosts are wondering where the hell we are.
And I had a vision before this all started that this was the time that Spirit finally decided that it's time for us to make the change, time for us to elevate to the next level. It was the time that they were going to start showing to everybody, now that everybody's quieter than they normally are, because they're not running around taking kids to basketball and all this stuff. It's time for them to come out. And hey, they're always here, but now is the chance to get everybody. Now I can get, moms and dads that don't believe the kids that hear it, that type of stuff.
Right.
I can get everybody now, and I can elevate us to a better place of love. And then that also happens in these pandemics, is they teach people that it's about being that our material is not important. It's our families, it's our people, it's the love, it's the what we do for each other. That's the most important thing, and that's what we're trying to learn again on a world basis. 9/11 taught America a little bit, but this taught the whole world enough of this materialism bullshit. Sorry, Facebook. I swore. I don't usually.
Seriously would yell at you for saying that?
I don't know. I probably will. I'll probably get censored.
Good
I'll
grief.
put that thing over. Contains violent language. By the way, if you have, we only got. Well, we'll keep going a little bit more. I don't have a time limit on. I can be on board as long as I want.
Anybody have any questions out there?
That's what I was just going to say. We haven't even said that. You have questions in the chat room. Please go ahead and put them in. I have them right here. Be able to see them. And we can go from there. So please put your messages in there. So
How many people are on there, Scotty?
I think we got 20 by the eyes right now, but that doesn't mean nothing.
Cool.
And, Regina says, but my reverend says if you are an SOB here, you don't change when you pass.
That's what I said.
But that's not the case, because heaven would have SOBs in it. Summerland would have SOBs in it, and that's where at first I always said that, because but here's the other thing.
It's cross, but ghosts can be SOBs. See, that's where we differ in that one spot, which makes it confusing. For me, I call it like I see it. So maybe
I do too. They can be that way. But once again, like we said at the beginning of the show, you said that, but like I say, even at the beginning, it was but Grandpa's still going to come across the way he came across.
Oh yeah.
The spirit's still going to come across as a spirit. He's still going to come across the same way that he would be, but he's not that way. He comes across with love. So the messages are different. Where ghosts still have that same crap on them. But people call them through. They call them earthbound spirits. A lot of people call them that. They call them residual. Residual is just a imprint of energy on.
Yeah, they're like a camera. It's like a camera. Marie Antoinette is my favorite example of that. When I'm talking about it to a group, Marie Antoinette running across the courtyard is total residual haunting.
So some people call them earthbound spirits, and then they call them the spirits that crossed over. And some people say the people that crossed over can't come back. Well, that's wrong. They can, because.
Oh, they can.
Yeah.
I think they're the ones I call drive-bys. They're the ones I might have to pull. I don't like to pull or ask too much to get somebody to come in for people, and it doesn't always work.
Right.
I usually read the people that do show, and some of them I do believe, and I can kind of tell whether or not where they've been. So I guess in some way I'm differentiating between spirit and ghost in your definition of it.
In my definition.
I know. I don't know how I know that, but I know it.
Right. And I think everybody does, no matter what you call it. I think it's the same. And I think the energy is the same, but I'm just trying to define it a little bit.
No, well, you teach it too, and I don't.
And I want in most readings, I want spirit to come through. I don't want the students to feel negative on any message they get. Now, I always tell them, I'm not teaching you how to ghost hunt. I said, doing mediumship readings is very different than ghost hunting, because ghost hunting, they're very cryptic. They're very, a lot of them play around. A lot of them won't tell you what they want. They'll lie to you. They'll change stuff. But that's why after I got that, I was like, what then makes the difference in my realm with, I can deal with a spirit like this, but this one is so loving. There has to be something different. And that's where I came up with the differentiate between ghosts.
That makes total sense. But yeah, I can.
You already do it. I mean,
I don't have a, yeah.
Yeah.
It's because I'm uneducated.
That's not the case. Not the case, everybody. She is one great reader, that's for sure.
Thank you.
And a great friend. That's for damn sure, too.
Well, if anybody's interested, I'm doing something tomorrow night or Saturday night too. I think we've got 3 spots left with, I don't know if anybody out there has ever been to an event with Brandy Wells, who's from New Hampshire. Scotty, you know her. Yeah. We're doing, this is our second one that we've done. If you go to Brandy Wells, Compassionate Clairvoyant, I think is her website name. You can look it up on there. Anyway, it's kind of like a gallery reading, but not. And it's very small amount of people, so you're guaranteed something by one of the two of us. And I told her I'd say that on here because we're trying to get rid of the last 3 spots.
All right. Hey, we got questions. Yay! So By the way, Stacy says, yes, you're an amazing reader too. So
Oh, is that my Stacy from Eagle, Wisconsin?
Stacy Roberts.
Oh, Stacy Roberts. That's my Stacy.
Yes, that's yours. So
That's
she
my
says, yes,
personal.
you are. All right. So I have a question from Deborah in the chat room. She says, will the spirit ghosts listen if you tell them to stop hurting someone? My grandson was pulled down yesterday and we have it on tape. Yes.
Usually, here's my experience with that. Little kids are often targeted by the lower levels, or a ghost, as we'll go with
I
that
would
because
say,
it
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they are more vulnerable. Usually when they're doing stuff like pulling people down, scratching, biting, whatever it is that seems really evil, and everybody wants to slap an evil sticker on that, what they're doing is they're looking for attention.
Right.
Unfortunately, when it's starting to affect a child, that's when you got to, like, you as the adult or you as the homeowner, if it was me, I would put my foot down but hard and be like, you know what, you can coexist here, but if you touch this kid again,
You're done.
we're going to have to get you out in a different way, and you're probably not going to like that.
Right.
I think it's probably, what it's probably wanting is acknowledgement. It's not an evil thing. It's just that the child was easier to take down than like you would be.
Right.
And
I set
I'm
the
a
boundary.
mom. If
And you
something was
set the
touching my
boundary.
kid like that, I would have a huge problem with that. So I would probably be saging the hell out of it. And if that didn't work, I'd be calling in somebody that could help. That's just my opinion.
That's my number one thing is when they go after kids. I am
Don't touch the kids.
don't touch the kids. Don't do
No,
it.
I don't.
'Cause
I
they're
was
not
one of those
asking
kids
for it.
that got tortured. So
Yeah. They're not asking for it. They're not doing anything about it. That's where I draw my line with spirits touching kids. That's ridiculous.
yep.
Even if
No,
it's
I
other,
mean,
even if
it's
it's
just-
other spirit kids, no, we're not going to deal with this.
no, because I never know, are they truly children? I have a weird thing with child spirits. I have a weird thing with that. That's just me. That's all I'm going to say on that. However, as an adult, I would be pretty strong worded with whomever if you think you know who it is, you might not know who it is. You might think you know, but it might not be that person. So, I would just be like, I don't know who you are, but that child's off limits. And if this continues, there's other ways you can protect the child. And there's certainly things you can do with, everything from holy water to anything that signifies something to you as a protection.
Right. And I like how you put that at the end. Symbolizes to you.
To you, it has to be something you believe in. Otherwise, it's not gonna work.
She asked, should we sage? And I would say not necessarily, unless you believe in saging, because
Well, yeah, if you don't believe that's going to work, your house is going to smell like a big baked chicken, and that's about all that's going to happen.
Exactly.
But if I personally, there is something with sage that does do the trick in my experience.
Right. I like sage. It seems to clean the energy a little bit. I don't necessarily know if it takes spirit away, because spirit's still there even after when I sage, and some spirits like it. But if it means something to you, then yes, you need to do it. Because if it's a Jewish ghost, they're not going to go away on holy water. They don't give a.
They're going to drink it.
Yeah, bathe in it. Put it in the sprinkler.
Exactly. It's not. It's all. It has to be something that represents power to you or protection to you.
Right.
That's
In your belief.
It's not going to work if you're using, smoking a peace pipe in your living room because you think it's an Indian spirit. It might not be. And you're not going to know how to pass that peace pipe. And I'm talking a peace pipe, not any other kind of pipe.
How if you do that too? Not legal in Wisconsin yet.
No, it is not.
It's legal in Illinois, so you can cross the border.
Yeah, I'll stick a toe over the border so I can smoke my peace pipe.
Carly, one of my students who's on here tonight, she lives in Beloit, which is right on the border. So,
Oh,
I'll tell her
boy.
to sneak across and get to a. All right, so we got a couple more questions. We're gonna go.
Yes.
Keep them coming, guys. We'll stay on. You don't mind staying on for a while?
No, I have so much to do with my social
You
life.
do.
Right
I didn't know what you said. All right, so yeah, Regina. So use what your best. Set your intention and do it here. So here we go. So Barbara says, Scotty, my husband was quite a heartless man to people, but everybody loved it. He also hard-hearted towards me also. Okay. He appears in my dreams almost 95% of the time. He doesn't speak, but he's a very loving and warm. I can feel this approval and pride how I am handling my life since his death. It's a very good feeling for me when I wake up, and I do feel him with me most of the time. All right, I got this one, and then you can jump in. I think, and this explains between my ghosts and my spirits, because once we cross all the way over, we go through what I call life review. It's a time when spirit has to atone for what it did on earth. You know, it's like, you know, if you're a Christian, you call it purgatory, but you know, some people I call it life review. And once you get through life review, then you get into heaven or Summerland or whatever you want to call the other side. And when you get to the other side, then that's when you lose all this negative bull crap that you have in life. This is when you come back in a place of love. So for you to say that, you know, it kind of resembles what I was talking about, because when you say that he sucked in life, he was really, he was a good putting a performance on. He wasn't the greatest guy all the time, but now he comes to you and he's rewarding you and he's nice. Great. He's finally learned.
over.
Yeah, he's finally learned and he understands it. He's coming to a place of love and he's with the universe. He's with the oneness. Great. I love it. You know, and I feel very proud that he's learned and come back. I mean, my dad did that. My dad and I didn't have a relationship in life. Now that he's learned and moved on, he comes back to people and tells them all the time that he's so proud of me because I'm doing this work. Because I didn't believe in you at all when I was alive, but now I believe you. And now I'm here to help you. And that's great to have that relationship. So people change. And that's why I call them spirits instead of ghosts, because ghosts don't change. Because I could go back to Waverly and that same person's there that was there last time because they're of that same lower energy and they're living in that crap. So that to me is hell.
I'm sorry. I just like the random throwing out of the word crap we use all the time.
You know, I like it. It is crap. It's like, and I teach my students of the crap that we carry inside us all the time, and then we judge ourselves on it. We hold on this crap that just brings us down, doesn't allow us to be that love and light that we should be here on earth. That we all wait. Oh, we're going to be great when we get to heaven. Why can't you be great now? You are great now. Just lose all the negative shit that everybody's told you.
All the crap, man.
Yeah.
My new tattoo. Yeah. Okay.
So Christy says, I'm very sensitive to see shadow figures and hearing spirits also to this day, which is great. Michelle Hessam says, I can't wait to get on and investigate again. What do you think?
Hi, Michelle Hessam.
She says, what do you think the activity will be like in places known to be haunted? We kind of said that, but you know, I think it's going to be ramped up.
It's ramped up already. And also, most of these places have had to close because of COVID. So the ones that are now reopening are doing so very cautiously. And it's not like, you know, actually, I think Michelle was with me when I went to Mansfield. I think she was on that trip with me a long time ago. There were more than one group in there. So our EVPs were polluted and stuff. You know, there's other things that was going on. Where now, if they're letting one group in one of those giant places instead of like 5 groups,
it's going to be perfect.
It's going to be like a crazy house in there.
It's going to be perfect. I love it.
Fit right in.
But I mean, but we should be able to hear spirit better. We should be able, you know, groups of 10 or even groups of 50 is still going to be way better than a group of 100 to 200 people that come, you know, especially the events we go to, you know.
Yeah.
When I go to bigger events. And in there, when you investigate with that many, it's just like, it's more of a show than it is.
It's more of a, you know what I call those? I call them field trips.
Field trips. Okay, that's a good, you'll take my.
It's not really, it's more of a field trip.
I'll call them field trips. I like that.
Yeah. It's not the same as a real investigation. But it's enough that a lot of people like to do it, and it's a lot of fun, and that's what it should be. But, you know, if you're out doing it to get any sort of data or anything like that, then a smaller group is better anyway, 100 times over having, you know, 30 people go cruising around anywhere, because you've got so much pollution and cross contamination of sound and light and everything else. That's what I say. That's Dana's professional opinion.
Scotty's is crap. Dana's.
Yeah. We're so well spoken.
I know. We're so educated.
We're so educated. Yeah.
It's tea time. We're Scots and ghost hunters right here.
Anybody else on there?
Let's see what else I have on here. Barbara says thank you. Michelle says hey Dana. Nick from Shadowhunters say hey.
Hey.
Carly says this is gonna be the best time to go ghost hunting. Can't wait. Any other questions? I mean, oh, here she goes. Christina comes up with a question. Okay, so she goes, my question was earlier in the post, which we didn't see, so apologize. Why would a spirit appear without a face, and why would some families be more sensitive to be contacted to them? My older sister, myself, and younger brother.
Well, can I go first?
You can go for it.
Okay. There's quite a few times where I see, you know what I don't get on people is eyes. So I might get facial features as far as hair color, skin tone, know what they look like, but I don't look in there, and I think it's me. If I look into somebody's eyes of a spirit, I'm afraid of what's going to look back at me.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I was just talking about this today with someone. And it's not that they're bad or evil or something. It's just that it's infinite. I don't think I can look into infinity and be the same.
Right.
So for them to show up without a face, you know, you got to remember, they're coming from a place we don't know. We don't know how hard it is for them to manifest. So the face might be the very last thing they're concerned with, you know, and they might have control over that. As far as some people being more sensitive than others, it's, you know, why do Scotty and I see things, or me and Brandy or whoever else we're working with, over Joe Blow the plumber? You know, it's just, it's all something we're all born with. So it'd be like, you know, why are you a better cook than I am? And nobody knows. You just are.
Because
and I think
I learned from Emerald. Bam, kick it up a notch.
I'm just like, put it on 30 seconds and pray. No, I'm kidding. But that's what I mean, is like, you know, there's no explaining that. Why are some people better actors or singers or dancers or, you know, doctors, you know, than other people? It's the same thing. It's a gift. And there, unfortunately for us, there isn't really a book or something we can definitively say why we're better at that than some people, or that ours is more developed earlier than some people, or whatever. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, that, like my baseball analogy before, you know, some people have better talent right off the bat, and then some people have developed it more.
Some people don't get it till they're like in their 50s and 60s.
Correct. Or they get in an accident.
Or hit by lightning.
Right, have a near-death experience after an accident, and then they get it. So it all depends on how they get it. But it's like, but it's all here the same. Everybody's the same. It's in here. It depends on how we connect it or control it. I mean, that's why a good teacher, class, event, or something will get you into it. You know, will teach you how to harness that stuff and put it together. You know, and Dana's got it because she's had it her whole life. She just worked with it, you know. Where
I had to cope as a very young child. It's really
right, exactly. I mean, that's totally right.
And it is, like I said, it's like any other talent that people have. Everybody has a talent. Everybody on this earth has something that they're better at than somebody else. This is what I'm good at. I know I wish it was singing or something, but it's not.
Yep. Regina goes to, we're all unique. Yep, we are all unique. Everybody has it. It's just, but see, here's the other thing is too often, you know, people will see like Chip, you know, who Dana and I are both very good friends with Chip, and they say, "Oh, I want to be like Chip." I go, "No, you don't. I don't want to be like Dana. And I know Dana doesn't want to be like me, and Chip doesn't want to be like us. We all want to be ourselves.
That's because it's all what you're used to.
Right? We all read different. We all read different. We're all talented in different ways, and that's more important. And that's why someday I want you to come and do a gallery show with me, Dana, because I do gallery shows with more than one medium. I have 5 or 6 on stage.
Oh, how cool!
And what we do on these gallery shows is all 6 of us will go to the same person. So one person just doesn't read, and then the next person reads. All 6 of us will go to whoever came first to that person, and we'll all add on to that person.
Oh, I bet you that's cool. I've never done that before.
Well, good. Then I'll invite you because
that'd be cool. I do that
because that's the most incredible, because the audience loves it too, because then they see 6 people reading the same spirits, that come around
in different
ways.
Different ways. Yep. Yeah, definitely.
In the end, there's a bigger and a better story, or whatever you call it, reading.
It's probably a better picture.
It's a better picture of the whole thing that's going on with them. Yes.
Right. Because sometimes spirit comes across as very choppy. They speak very, very quickly to me. Like I don't like to do names because they might say Betsy, but I'm hearing Betty, Becky. I can't tell for sure what name it is. And then it sounds like I'm fishing. So I just skip names.
Right.
Unless it's a definite, like,
some other people get right away.
It's just, I don't want to be fishing. Like, everybody eventually is going to know a Becky. Somebody in that audience is going to know a Becky.
Right.
It's just the way, and I don't want to be like, who knows a Becky, Barry, Billy, Bobby, no.
I did it for a joke at one show. I went to them. Oh, because they already saw me read most of the night, and they know I just go direct to a person. And I said, your grandma, she looks like this. She's standing right there. Say hi to her. And this is the message she wants. I mean, I'm that direct. I just go right at somebody like that. And so later in the show, I just went, I'm getting a grandmother that baked cookies. Who can I talk to?
Me, it's me.
Everybody in the room raised their hand. I was like, see, so as a medium, you can't do that. How many people's grandmas loved them? Almost everybody did. There was a couple that had fights with them.
Right.
But you know what I mean? But the majority of the room, hands go up. So in media, we don't give that information too. I had one more question. We go here too. Hi, Alma. Alma jumped in late, but she's here. We're still going. We'll go another 15 minutes and we'll call it. We'll go at 8:30. So Jasmine said, I've been a lot more sensitive and conscious after my grandma passed. I spend a lot of time listening to Alan Watts. That also helped me on my journey. Yeah, I think that's the time, and I think that's the number one thing that I get the most is when people have somebody that just passed, and then they get the experience of that person. I think that to me is probably the number one thing that happens, is because they're trying to say goodbye as they're leaving.
I think, like I said, you can go your entire life, or I know my friends have gone their entire lives and they've never had anything happen. And then somebody dies that's close to them. And then all of a sudden, all this stuff starts happening. And then that's when they call me after they've taunted me for years. Everybody picks on the Catholics, so we need an exorcist kind of thing, right? So,
but that's the other thing. Okay. Let's not get back into the demonology.
No. That's a joke. That was a joke.
No, but I want to get back to it. How does a demonologist work with a Jewish faith? I'm just like, it doesn't.
But it does, because when I'm part of the ministry.
I know, that's what I'm
saying.
Active,
but there are certain things that as a psychic medium I will know if I'm dealing with a different faith or something way out of my league, something I don't know. At least I have the option. So yeah, the Catholics do work with the Jewish people, and the Jewish people do work with the Hindus, and the Hindus work with the Buddhists, and the whole thing goes around and around, because there's belief things that come into play too.
Right, I know.
So then it gets mired up in so much stuff.
The onion. We're looking for the nuggetologist. Remember, you're a nugget.
We have to peel. Dang, we should go as onions for Halloween.
And I'll go as the nugget.
You be a nugget, I'll be the whole onion.
So then Jasmine has another question.
Yeah.
What are some signs of being surrounded by lower vibrational energy? What if you have both around you and can sense a tug and pull? That's a prime example of
Well,
higher energy.
okay. I know that my needy ghosts, every day of the year I have scratches on my back since I was a baby. And we're talking sometimes hundreds, all over my back. That's been my whole life. Usually when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing in their eyes, which is paying attention or giving messages or doing it. When I was married, it got really bad because I wasn't doing any of this for 9 years.
Mhm.
It didn't go over real well with the spirit world. So that's one way to find out. If you're waking up and you're getting scratches, let's say you don't have a cat or a child or anything that could scratch you, and you're getting the scratches I get look like they're done with the head of a pin. They're not like, you see in the horror films with three.
Right.
Oh, it's three. It's the Holy Trinity. No, it's just like little tiny little claws, but they itch really horribly, and then they bleed all over the place. And of course, I've had it happen. I was sitting at work one day and my leg just opened up, and people saw it happen and were like, "Oh!" I'm like, "It's not stigmata, okay? It's a ticked off ghost. Just settle down."
He's ticked off.
I can't get jumpy about that, or I'd be out of my skin all the time.
Right.
Lower level blowout light bulbs, lower level things want to play around with your stuff. They're going to move stuff around your house. They're going to drop change. Pennies from heaven. We've all heard that story. That's more of a positive thing. But as far as like, if you're talking negative, there's all the things.
Illness that's around you a lot.
Fatigue is huge.
Depression.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can go down this line. This negative energies force you to stay in that, and you stay in that energy with them, and you don't want to be in that energy. That's why I teach everybody that they need to be of their own energy. So when you feel that negative lower energies around you, if you want to call it negative, because I don't, I just call it lower or higher. But lower energies are that do that fatigue, that sickness. So if you've been sick the whole time COVID is and you don't have it, then why are you sick? Well, because lower energies are around you and you're tapping into it, and you're allowing yourself to mix your energy with any other energy, which is totally wrong. We got to keep ourselves away from spirit, ghosts, anybody, even spirits. We can't, even though they come from a higher place, you still can't mix your energy with them because you have to be of yourself. So that's the things I always check and see if you have lower energies around you.
And if they're draining electronics,
yes,
they're going to drain you, because guess what? You're a big battery.
Right. Exactly. So that's
really
the stuff, that's the stuff you need to look at if you want to see that tug and pull.
Right. Yep.
All right. So Carly says, "Oh no, it's mocking the Holy Trinity demon."
Didn't I say it's not? Okay.
She's funny. She's an amazing medium too. All right. So Deborah says, and we'll take this into the end, and then we'll talk at the end. So I will ask you first, since you are the guest this evening. What was your scariest experience with ghosts/spirits? Hey, they're learning. I love it. Thank you, guys. So
there you go.
What is your scariest time? That's a good question. I always like that because
I've got so many that it's trying to narrow it down.
Right.
My scariest ones probably were some things that were going on a year or two ago when I was studying I was an apprentice to a demonologist out of Bronx, New York. His name was Al Wallen, and unfortunately he is no longer with us. He called me on a Wednesday. He died on Friday. He called me Wednesday to tell me he was under attack and he was dead on Friday. So there were things that were happening in a house that I was working in Illinois that I was down there. Very disturbing things, which I had not determined where they were exactly coming from, but the EVPs were horrifying. And some of the salt that we had out was drawn into symbolism, and there was symbolism on the walls, and it was kind of like a poltergeisty thing.
Mhm.
That was probably the scariest, but like, I get touched a lot and poked, and I startle like everybody else does.
I don't. See, that's the thing. The only time I started was at an investigation where a human jumped out at me. I punched him in the head.
I almost punched a little kid in a haunted house. I can't go in them anymore. Those like
I just punched
haunted
him.
houses.
I was like, "You're jumping out. You're getting punched."
I can't go into those haunted houses because this little kid came over with a flashlight. He popped up in front of me, and I pushed him. And he's like, "You can't push the actors." I'm like, "Then get out of my way!" I was horrified. I can't go in those things. See, there's an example. I shouldn't be afraid in there. Stick me in a real haunted house, I'm fine. Put me in a fake one, and I'm terrified.
See, I go to the fake ones to mess with the people that are in there.
Nice. At least
I bring real spirits with me.
But that's the scariest thing that's happened. And then there were other things that happened after that. But again, that's another conversation. But
yeah, we'll do that another night. We'll have you on.
I've had some things that have happened in the last probably 2 or 3 years that make me question a lot of what I believed before. And I'm not saying anybody's wrong. I'm just saying it's been my experience what happened. So that was the scariest.
Mine was Fox Hollow Farms.
And I would love to go there. Is it still standing?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I know the lady who allows people in there. So if you ever want to go, we'll have.
I do, because I've been fascinated by that story for quite a few years.
Fox Hollow Farms, I know if you're not on all night with us, is where Herb Baumeister, he was a very rich man and very terrible man. He was the nugget of the onion right there. He would bring gay men home and kill them in his basement in the pool area. He would use hoses and wrap around their necks. So really some nasty stuff. It was terrible. I was, like I said, Deb Lance, their psychic medium out of Indiana. Her and I were the first 2 psychic mediums there. And the day we did this event, we went with a bunch of people. It was like one of the first times in as ghost hunting people. And Deb and I stayed back, and her son Nick, because we didn't want to hear all the stories. They were showing all the TV shows on it, all the newscasts, and they were giving all the ghost hunters all the detail of the place. And we didn't want to see any of that. Of course, you don't as a medium.
Right.
We went in for a walkthrough, and we told them, "Don't tell us anything. We'll walk with you, but I don't want anybody to tell us. If you are, then we'll walk separate, and you guys can do whatever you want." But we were all in the front hall doing a debriefing, and I see Herb coming down the stairs behind Deb and her son Nick, and I go up to Deb. I go, and she goes, "Yeah." And she goes like this because she can feel him behind her, and he was like leering at her son because he was about the same age as the kid.
Like young guys, right?
Yes.
Young.
Yeah. 19, 20, 21.
You know who scares me to this day is Gacy.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. Would be very similar to that feeling, you know what I mean? And,
yeah.
And so all night long we were getting the stuff I did with James Long. We did, he was there with me, and I did automatic writing. And so when James was there, or Reverend or Bishop or whatever he is he Bishop Long now? I think he is.
Bishop, yeah.
Yeah, so he's a bishop now. And so we did automatic writing. So I let her use my hands, and he did these eyes that were like deep and depressed, and it was just a really creepy picture. And almost he did it so deep that he ripped the paper, so the eyes actually popped out so creepy stuff.
Right.
So that was creepy. And then at the end, we ended up telling the people that owned the place exactly all the stuff that we felt. And one of the ghost hunters said, "You guys are just telling them what you saw on TV." And then everybody else in the room, they go, "They didn't see it." So we were that on.
That's another thing psychics got to put up with,
Yeah. They just saw it on the TV. I said, "Where was I in the room?" They go, "Oh, well, you weren't. You were at the hotel." I go, yeah, see,
Put a
but
cork in it, Sonny.
the worst part of it though was a week later, up to a week later, Deb and I ended up having herb dreams, exactly the same dream. You know, we were in the dream with him. He was influencing our dreams for a week, and then we finally,
Does he still hang out in the woods?
oh yes, because that's where he put a lot of bodies.
Yeah, okay. Because I always see him in the woods, and I've never been there.
Yep, you're
That
getting.
for some reason is in my head.
Yep, you're getting it 100%.
Okay. Also back to Gacy, and I know you're friends with Ursula too. Have you ever been on her tour where she goes and talks about Gacy?
Mm-mm.
I don't remember which one it is, but go Ursula Bielski, Chicago. If they ever get to go do live stuff again, it's
I
super.
think it's a 10 in a cart, you know, so you should have to just do smaller ones. If Illinois opens up, because Illinois is worse than anyone other than Michigan.
Yeah, I know, but man, that's a great tour she does. That one's one of the best ones I've ever been on. That was the greatest. Oh my God, that was the best time.
I think he's actually worse than Gacy because he killed so many.
Yeah, but Gacy was.
He was a torturer too. I mean,
He just makes. There's something with him that just sticks to me. It's like I can't get my hands clean. I'm like that Shakespearean play. I don't remember which one it is. Othello, I think.
yeah.
Doesn't
I'll
matter.
answer this question quick for Jasmine. She got one more question.
Yep.
She says, sorry, one more question. Is it dangerous to try to channel higher dimensional beings? It's okay if you don't have time to answer. Well, I didn't have to read that. I just read. Idiot. Oh, I don't have time to answer.
I wouldn't try it unless you actually know exactly what you're doing, because unfortunately, again, this is not a perfected science. There are no experts in this field, and I don't care what anybody says. We can be well versed, but there are no experts in any of this. So you don't really know what you're opening yourself up to, whether you believe what you believe or not. You don't know.
Right. And if you don't know, if you don't have your spirit guide with you and the people, you know, your immediate team from the other side, and if they're not there, I do trans channeling. I will leave my body and let spirits come in. I'll do it at ghost hunts. I will allow spirits to use my body. I did it at Old Baraboo Inn. I let spirits use my body a lot, and I'm okay with it. But I have my spirit guide Steve with me every moment of the day.
Your spirit guide's name is Steve?
Yeah, let me tell you that story quick.
I'm sorry. I absolutely love that.
So Steve is not his real name.
I know, I figured, but
He had a very Greek name, and I couldn't pronounce it. He kept telling me it. I was going, blah, 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 blah.
just call me Steve.
That's exactly what he said. He said, just call me Steve, damn it. I said, okay. So he's Steve. But I did later find out that Steve and I were married in my last life. I was his wife, and that's why he's still with me, because he didn't want me to come back, because I have not come back many times as a man. This is one of the few times as a male, and he wanted me to come back and be protected, and so he agreed to come back as my guide and still protects me, and I love him dearly, more than anyone could ever know. This guide is wonderful, and it's fun because he's been coming to all my students into their meditations and stuff and go, nope, Scotty won't like that. Or, okay, you can do that. Scotty's okay with that.
Steve,
You know, so
I absolutely love that.
he's guiding him. I'm just like, but anyway, so I won't go unless I know Steve is standing by me, because Steve protects me. Because once I leave, I don't have a chance to get back unless somebody's helping me. You know.
Yeah, I don't do that. There's another reason why I don't do that, which we'll talk about at a different time too.
The other show, yes. But I agree with that. But I let Steve protect me, and once I leave my body, I do. So unless you're 100% understanding your guides and I wouldn't do it. I definitely wouldn't do it.
Because it's a chance, it's a risk, and like I said, there's nobody that can tell you, oh, it's safe, you can do it. People don't know that, and that's really important to know that if somebody's trying to sell you something that seems fishy, it's fishy, because there are no experts here.
Right. That's, I mean, that's a great thing to do. So that's a great thing. And I want everybody to do this and understand this. If something doesn't make sense to you, it's not right. Because I know you read that way, and I know I read that way. If I'm about to give you something that totally doesn't make sense, I'm not giving it to you.
I usually say whatever I get, I say, and I'll say to the person, I have no idea what this means, but it's coming out. It might mean something to them then or later, but if it's like, you know, two penguins on a toilet seat or something, I know that's not gonna be.
But see that to me, the reason why I question is if I'm doing with a ghost or a spirit, because to me,
Yeah.
very separate. Because if it's a spirit, it comes right out. And even to a point now, after I did ayahuasca, and I did that, you know, the ceremonies through the Native American Church. After I did that, my readings became even more faster because it just comes out. So they use my mouth, almost like I'm letting them channel through my mouth. So I don't even hear them much up here anymore. It just comes out. So I trust spirit that much. So
Kind of like your normal life, but
yeah, that's true.
you
The show
know.
was so damn fun. Oh my God, it's great. So,
All right.
Melba came in late. Melba, watch the replay. It'll be all over Facebook. So we love you guys.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
So
Woo.
why don't we start with Dana? Why don't you give us all your Facebook, wherever anyone can get a hold of you for your readings, for whatever you're doing. Go for it.
I am old school. I do not have a website. You can get me on Facebook. My last name is Stricker. It's Stricker. My first name is Dana, Dana. And my email address is hauntedspiritgirl@yahoo.com.
Nice.
My best friend came up with that about 20 some years ago, and I just never changed it.
Because you have Yahoo and I still have Yahoo. Sorry.
Yep. And I do remote readings. I do Skype, Zoom. I don't like Skype as much. I Zoom or phone, or I do right over the computer. I'm just now, my office is in Heartland, Wisconsin, and I am starting to take 1 or 2 people a day with time in between to disinfect, and I do mask up and all the other happy crap. I know it's necessary. I'm just tired. Everyone's tired, I think. But I'm doing it safely, and it is within Wisconsin guidelines right now that we're able to do that on a limited basis.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you and good night. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, not yet.
Not yet.
So my website, as of today, is completely 100% updated. That's at scottyrourke.com, scottrourke.com, or spookyscotty, or spookyscotty.com. I'm doing readings, and that's on either on my Facebook page. I got a new business Facebook page too. Scotty Rourke Psychic Medium is on Facebook. Go there. All my hours that I'm open will be on there. Times I do things, I book over it, so you can't book those times. You can also book me through my webpage, and it also has links to my Facebook page. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on, you name it, I'm around on all of them. So, but everything's Scotty Rourke. That's kind of where I am. What else? So my Facebook page, Shadow Hunters. Thank you guys for having us on.
Yes,
we're going to be doing Shadow Hunter or Spirits in the Spring, but in the summer. I don't know. So the show's still coming on, so I'm going to be down there for that once we get going.
I'll be there for that too, I hope.
That's right. Yeah.
We'll be
fine.
I'm speaking this time.
Yeah.
You get to hear my the one I was just talking about with the black-eyed kids. What I found out. Now I have more time to look into it even, so I should have more information by then.
And then of course I'm doing
intrigued.
Class. Yeah, I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see the black-eyed kids one. That's cool. And then, like I said, my classes are going too, so you can book yourself on a class. So I'm leading at least 6-week ones. If they go longer, they go longer. It's up to you. But I get most people into at least a good place in 5-6 weeks. But I have a couple of students that are up to 8-9 weeks, but they just want to go really deep, and that's fine. by that time it's an advanced class and it's the same price, but then I tailor it just to you and what you want to learn. So then we kind of work on that every week.
That's really cool. I'm glad you're doing that. I think that's a great idea. I'm not a teacher.
To me, it's a great thing, and I'm very happy to do it. I mean, it's just so exciting by the end to see people that are able to deal with the spirit better and understanding, and I think that's so awesome.
Yeah. I'm glad you're doing that.
Yeah, but I think
it's necessary, I think, and especially to separate reality, fact, or whatever fact and reality actually is. But you know what I'm saying? Like
right.
The Hollywood version of this to what it actually is important. That to give us credibility, people need to understand it better than just us being like the ghost whisperer.
Right.
You know.
Or
I guess that's how I feel about it.
Or even Teresa Caputo running around, you know.
No. I'm not Teresa Caputo.
Me neither. I won't be, because I don't understand. I won't go to somebody unless they ask me, because I don't know where you are.
But that's what she's being directed to do too. I don't know her personally, so I'm not going to say anything. I think she's funny.
I've met her. She's amazing. I love Teresa. I met her amazing. But the thing with Teresa is, also everybody always forgets, is that anyone in that grocery store or the butcher shop has already signed a waiver saying Teresa might come to you today. You know, they don't tell her which one she's going to pick. They just say, everyone here, if you don't want to be here, get out. And
yeah,
so
pretty much.
Everybody's giving their consent.
Yeah. No, I think she seems funny. I've always enjoyed watching her because I think she makes me laugh. But
I love it. I love her show.
I won't be going up to the guy in the mattress store and copping a squat, laying down next to him on the mattress, saying, "So, did your grandma just die?"
No, yours did. You're pregnant.
Surprise!
All right, check all their shows on Shadowhunters. Right here, we have a bunch of shows. Like Sharon has her show on Tuesday night, Tarot Tuesdays. Nick and Greg have a show coming up. I don't know what date and time yet, but they'll be on here. So watch our page. We do a lot of shows on here, and then the replays are all over on my page, Scotty Rourke's Facebook page, my business page. They're not on my website, so you're gonna have to stay in this format. But thank you, everybody. Appreciate everybody coming. Guys. Thank you, Dana, for staying.
For sure. Give me a call anytime.
I will. It'd be great.
Cool.
All right. See you guys next week. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Scotty.